Morning, this is Brian. Today is Saturday, November 1st, 2025, and I'm here in the Manchester Preserve in Encinitas, San Diego County, California. It is time for a special edition of Spotlight on Shrubs. Today's spotlight is on an extremely rare, very local endemic species of shrub called the Orcutt's Goldenbush. And this is Hazardia orcuttii. This is generally a small, woody-based shrub in the sunflower family, the Asteraceae, and is one of a couple to a few species of Hazardia found here in California. Down here in Southern California, we have two main species of Hazardia that I know, and this one is by far the rare one, and the other one is much more widespread. So what do we have here? We have a woody-based shrub, and it's related to its much more common Hazardia squarosa, the sawtooth goldenbush. And you can check my spotlight on shrubs for that video from a few years back if you want more information about the much more widespread Hazardia. But here, this one is only found in this general area. This is a very endangered plant, critically endangered species, only found basically here in openings of the coastal sage scrub and chaparral habitat. Up here we got some mixed chaparral like coastal scrub oak, lemonade berry, coastal chamise. So this plant is kind of bridges the gap between openings and coastal sage scrub, chaparral, and it looks like this site's a little disturbed, so it might also take some disturbed sites. So what do we have here? This one is a little stiffer, a little woodier than its Hazardia squarosa relative. It's still relatively brittle, like a lot of these Asteraceae shrubs. A lot of Asteraceae shrubs are only really woody, much more towards their base, the lower trunks and stems of the plant. But this one tends to be a little more sturdy than Hazardia squarosa. Very interesting little shrub here. And I'm going to go to some a little bit closer to the side of the trail. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture or two over here, and I'm going to go migrate over so we can look at some of the salient features of this plant. So both Hazardias have quite an upright habit. Hazardia squarosa, as does Hazardia orcuttii. Upright habit. This one's a little denser and a little shrubbier than the very sparse habit of Hazardia squarosa. And Hazardia orcuttii has smooth-edged leaves. Here we go. They are sessile, in other words, they don't have leaf stalks, and they're smooth-edged. You can see here. And they're relatively spatulate, or roughly spoon-shaped, and the base of the leaf clasps directly towards the stem of the plant, which again means basically means sessile, without a petiole or a leaf stalk. And which is the one thing that's the case with a lot of Asteraceae plants. The leaves towards the top of the stems are much smaller than the leaves towards the lower parts of the stems. You can see how large that old leaf is there compared to the leaves towards the top. And then what we have are these brownish gray twigs. Again, they're a lot sturdier than Hazardia squarosa, its relative, as you can see. And eventually graduate down towards these lighter gray stems. And then we get the bark. Which is light gray and sometimes slightly furrowed. Here's the base of our Hazardia orcuttii. Yeah, these plants are pretty brittle, so be careful with them. So we do get some slight furrowing and slight fluting towards the base of the trunks. So it's a very handsome bush. Probably not going to get much bigger than this. If you are able to find a legal seed source, if it's in cultivation, which I very highly doubt, I would suggest trying to see if you can get it legally online. Legally. You know, just don't trust any source, you know. California Native Plant Society may be a source to look into. Trying to get the seeds of this plant. But don't collect seeds from this plant in the wild, because this is a very, very endangered plant. And definitely do not pick out plants from the soil. It'll probably kill the plants, which is what you don't want to do in the first place. Here's a smaller one here. Again, you can see those leaves are smooth and they're kind of olive green. And they do have a little bit of a glandular appearance. I'm trying to see if I can rub the leaves to get a fragrance off of them. Again, I'm trying to do it very gently, because these plants are kind of brittle, as most Asteraceae shrubs are quite brittle. So it looks like there's a little bit of glandular frosting on the leaves. So let me go get a couple pictures of this plant, and then I'll go start talking about the blooms of Hazardia orcuttii. All right. Well, being that it's in the Asteraceae, it is a flowering plant, an angiosperm, a plant that produces flowers and fruits. So, let's talk about the flowers of Hazardia orcuttii, because since it's a sunflower family member, its blooms are in flower heads. It's a composite flower, is what a flower head is. In other words, it is a floral segment that is composed of florets, which are basically miniature flowers. Now, the detail is going to be kind of hard to get on camera, because the flower heads are very small on Hazardia orcuttii. But what you have are some very tiny disc florets and some really tiny ray florets. Like I said, it's very hard to get good details on camera, but there you go. Let me try to center that a little bit better. You can see some petal-like ray florets radiating from the center. And that's where we get ray or radiate. The terms ray or radiate originate from that. So it has disc florets in the center and radiate florets that extend out from the center and radiate outwards on Hazardia orcuttii. Hazardia squarosa tends to have more disc-like florets, but look at that. You can see, pretty cool. And this plant mostly blooms from very late summer in through autumn. So this is one of those autumn blooming Asteraceae plants that are very commonly associated with autumn in Southern California. A lot of Asteraceae bloom in autumn. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. So, when the flowers are pollinated, the flower heads are pollinated, then we get these seed heads. And the fruit of the plant is called an achene, a little tufted fruit with the seed part on the end of it. So this is a group of several seeds above my thumb right here. Ooh, and it does have an aroma. It does have a slightly a resinous aroma. Slightly. But yes. There you go. Those are the seed heads. So what happens is you take them out, sprinkle them on the soil. Hopefully the winter rains will stimulate some germination. So I'm going to go ahead and get a few more pictures of this plant, and then I'll spend the rest of my time kind of oogling and going ooh goo goo gaga over this wonderful rare plant. So let's wrap up. This is a relatively short video. You know, it's not going to be a 25-minute video. I pretty much said most of what I need to say about this plant with regards to identification. But let's take some time to appreciate this extreme rarity here in Southern California. Basically only found in this general area, the Encinitas area of San Diego County. What an incredible find. And I parked at the main reserve lot down on Manchester. You get off on Interstate 5 at Manchester Avenue. You go up, and then you're going to make a right to stay on Manchester, and it's just a short distance up the road on your left. You'll find a small round dirt lot. And what I did is I took the trail more on the west side. I believe this is the west side. It's so far as I can't get my directions great, but this is more on the west side of the area, and I haven't seen any towards the bottom. This is the first one I came across here up on the ridge, so I took a very steep trail with stone steps. Took a steep trail with stone steps coming up here from a power line right away. You'll find a trail going up. Eventually becomes very steep with a lot of stone steps, and then you get towards the western portion of the reserve. There's a street access area, and must be a loop or something trail here. Before you get to that bench, you see that bench? Your first Orcutt golden bushes will basically be over here. These are the first ones I've noticed since coming up here. So here you have it. Orcutt's golden bush. This has been a gold mine find that I've been wanting to document and share with you people who love to watch my more botany-oriented videos, which a lot of botany in them anyways, but as opposed to my normal 2-hour hiking odysseys, sometimes you just want to take time to just focus on the plants. And this is it. Hazardia orcuttii, Orcutt's golden bush here in Encinitas, California. Thanks for taking time to check out my spotlight video on this very rare platinum find. And hope you are able to come up here to Manchester Preserve, find it out for yourself, take some time to appreciate it. Thanks for watching my spotlight video. Hope you found it helpful and inspirational to get out and check out these plants for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another spotlight.